Welcome back to Beer There Drunk That. I got nothing right now. Someone
Well,
bail
I
me
got
out.
something.
The
I
only pod with two guys wearing the same hats.
It's true that we didn't
Sorry,
yeah.
make
Luke.
ourselves.
Yep. Sorry,
You
Luke. Go
didn't
ahead.
did you plan it even?
No,
Yeah, we have a separate group chat just with Keegan and I.
we didn't even
Uh
Pluto it.
Yeah.
I have in front of me, gentlemen, not a full beer, okay? But an NA, so we're inching closer to getting back to drinking beer between tasting notes and such. So we're getting there. We're getting there.
Nice.
I'm proud of you.
Yeah.
Slow and steady wins the race, Luke.
I've heard, but god damn it, it sucks.
I have a
Yeah, it's
full
been.
beer.
I also have a full beer. What's for your full beer?
I got spring beer from
Spring beer.
Indeed. Won this the other night. Sophie and I won trivia as we do. So this is like their Dortmunder export lager. It's unfiltered.
Okay.
Um, just a really good beer in my opinion. It's like as my buddy Gary, who works there, says, like when it first came on tap, he's like, it's our beer that tastes the most like beer.
Because you've talked about the Dortmund what's it called? The Dortmund before. You've talked about it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I like that style
Okay.
of beer.
Okay. Yeah, because it's a beer's beer.
Yeah, I mean it's just like it's a little more than like a macro lager, but it's not quite it's nothing fancy.
Yeah.
Well,
No,
I realize I should have included more of that kind of thing in my mom's was it, Easter beer hunt essentially. Like I should have done that because I think there was some stuff. I think she was nice about it, but I don't know if there were too many winners and I wanted her to, you know, expand her horizons,
it's all right. Hey,
but it didn't quite pan out, I don't think. I don't see my mom drinking IPAs quite yet.
she'll get there.
All of us have our
No,
day.
Once
I
she
I really
matures,
don't think she will.
let her mature a little bit, and she'll get there.
Yeah.
Although I will say, so we were just in Canada, them for a week, me for part of the week. And my mom, had forgotten this, drinks Alexander Keith IPA, which surprised me to remember that, but also then I tasted it and it is just like a standard beer. It is not overly hoppy at all. I would not even venture to describe it as a true IPA, but I don't know.
Okay. Well, gentlemen, I have in honor of July 4th this week, I have Sour Me America.
Sorry,
It's
America.
a rocket pop sour ale from Duclaw Brewing Company.
That is the epitome of ooh la la beer, as my uncle would say, but that sounds very
It
interesting.
is.
That's fun.
Well, it's patriotic, so let's
I
suck
had a
on that.
Rocket Pop hard seltzer last night, actually.
How was that?
Really good.
All right.
Well, let's
Should
crack
we
these
crack
beers
them?
and then we'll talk about it. Ah, there we go.
Someone had a
I'm
good crack.
excited to be able to crack something this week.
And it's not your back.
Ooh.
Yeah, I gotta say, these Guinness Zeros are pretty incredible. I am thoroughly, thoroughly impressed with them.
Is it so it's
Well, I'm glad.
Guinness? What is it? There's like two different versions of Guinness, like non-alcoholic, like one for the US and one for Europe, I think. Right?
Yeah, well, so I believe Guinness 0.0, which something can only say 0.0 if there's absolutely no alcohol in it at all. Now,
Yeah.
this being Guinness Zero, there's less than 0.5%.
Yeah.
So I have to drink over 20 of them to feel anything. And so I'm cracking my fourth in the last minute.
It's good.
He's trying to maintain the pace.
Um, but no, the Rocket Pop seltzer was good. How's the beer, Keegan?
It's pretty mild, honestly. I expected more, like for it to be more sour, but it's
Now,
honestly just kind of like a lime ale, I guess.
Hmm.
do you guys think that they were true to kind of what they're advertising?
To me, no. Actually, I guess I'm getting a little bit of cherry and lime. Yeah, but
Mine
I,
was
I don't
mostly
know.
cherry.
So I'm getting some cherry and lime, which they describe it as an ale brewed with tart cherry, raspberry, and lime purees and natural flavors. So if that's the goal, they achieve that.
Hmm.
It's not like a bomb pop in a can,
Mm.
is how I'll say it. But it's not a bad beer by any means.
Anyone had the Rocket
So
Pop
I can't
flavored
complain.
twisted tea yet?
No, I did not even know that was a
No,
thing.
Yeah, that's a thing.
Oh my God, that's right up my sister
since when?
Anna's alley.
I think it's new this year. I think it's new.
Hmm.
Okay. Well, yeah, I haven't touched a twisted tea honestly in a while. You know what I've been starting to drink instead of twisted teas is the Surfside teas. Have you guys had those?
You talked
Mm-mm.
about it when you played golf that one day, right?
They're so good. Yeah, they're so good. It's like it's literally more iced tea than twisted tea, and it's not as sweet kind of thing. So
Is that big where you are, Keegan?
well, I'm in Rochester, bozo. So how about that action?
You're in Rochester right now?
Yeah, I'm leaving soon though.
Oh, well, yeah. That's nice.
Yeah, well,
That's
suck
nice.
on
Don't pay old Luke a visit or
it.
anything.
Why would I? Um,
I mean, to be fair, I was in Canada this whole time.
yeah. So
You
let's
You
not.
knew
Yeah,
that too,
yeah,
but
yeah,
you
yeah,
emigrated,
yeah.
Luke.
but I still like to blame you nonetheless.
No, but I think I mean, because I've had it on Amtrak before, and then I've had it. I forget where else I had it. I think I had it in New York a couple of times, but I don't think it's New York City based. So I'm not sure where it's totally out of. But I do enjoy it.
I've seen some memes about him. Like
Some memes.
I saw like a video on like TikTok of a guy like driving down the highway and was like the Surfside truck next to him was like, Lord, if you can hear me right now, tip this truck over.
No, they're very good. They're very good.
Oh,
Speaking of very good, I had a couple of pretty solid beers, so I wouldn't go to say they were very good. Do you guys have any very good beers that you wanted to share?
I will say one of mine was like pure straight very good,
Okay,
but it
do
wasn't
you want to
anything
take it?
fancy. Yeah, I can go there. Let me just pull
Okay.
up my notes real quick.
Well, actually, yeah. Can you tell us about lagers?
Well, lagers, I mean, it's one of the two main varieties of beer. You have ales and lagers. Lagers are bottom fermenting, and they usually ferment colder than ales. And then the lagering process is actually just like storing the beer really cold for a while, which is what allows them to be like really super crystal clear, um, and gets you that like crispiness to it,
Mhm.
Oh,
essentially. My hope was this is that we get some nice, like fun,
I
lighter
didn't know that.
summer beers in the mix without a lot of constraints on style. And also because I had nothing on the top of my head at that moment. But my first beer, it's actually the second one I drank, is from Hopewell Brewing. It's called Clean Living. It's a Midwest lager, 5% alcohol. Um, it's like it was a beer's beer. You know, I gave this a 3.75 out of 5. Um, it was super bright. It had a really nice, deep, malty flavor, without being like dark, which I really appreciated. Um, it as it was the like there was a good amount of hoppiness on the back end of it, um, but not quite as much as you would have as in a pilsner. Like I wrote that it was borderlining on a pilsner. I didn't have a lot to say other than that was like if someone put a four pack of those in front of me while I was sitting outside reading a book, the 4 pack would be done by the time I got up.
Ooh, solid.
Yeah, it was
Nice.
just
So
3.75.
going back to our episode last week,
It was great.
yeah, it's a solid
So,
beer. I like that.
would you ever drink that post lawn mowing?
Damn it, Luke! I was on the way there.
I mean it's like to me that's like it's in that definition of like easy, crisp, relatively low ABV, um, refreshing.
I like that.
Cool.
I like that.
It's on the wilder edge, I will say. There was a like the amount of like hoppiness and maltiness going on there. The flavors were a little complex for me for a lawnmower beer. Like, but I'd still gladly have one after mowing the lawn.
Gotcha.
I think it's important too, and I'm sure this is an experience some of our listeners have had. am son of one of those listeners. Um, but if you go to a brewery and you ask if they have a lager on tap, chances are pretty good if they're a smaller brewery that their answer will be no, because it typically takes longer for lagers to finish up than ales. Um,
Oh,
I
Yes,
think
they're
it's
it's a much longer process, and it's a little more complex than just like brew an IPA, throw a bunch of hops in there, you know, hope it
bam
doesn't
and
taste
done.
too much like weed unless you're brewing a West Coast. Like,
unless you're going for it. Right, right, right. Well,
that's why
gentlemen,
you mostly see
so
ales.
as you,
Sorry.
Yes,
yeah, yeah.
for sure.
No, you're fine. So I was in Maine when I got these beers, as we talked about last week. Um, so I'll start with this one. So we were in Algonquin, Maine, which is about 25, 30 minutes across the New Hampshire border into Maine, right on the water there. So we were about 2 minutes from the beach, which was great. And one of the reasons that it was great was because it was like 95 Wednesday and Thursday. It was miserable. That being said, that's why the sun sucks. So this is the Sun Sucks beer. It's by Odd by Nature Brewing, which is actually they have an Odd by Nature in Worcester. This one is obviously in what's it called?
Like unquit.
In like
Man,
Algonquin, like York Cliffs, yeah, Maine. Um, but yeah, so they have a couple different locations. Honestly, like before you even get to the beer, the vibes of this place were unbelievable. It was like kind of 90s retro themed. So like we were drinking our beers. I got a flight. Caitlin got this like Mac Miller inspired beer. And then we were able to like walk over around the corner and just play NBA Jam on the like
Oh
console,
yeah.
like the big old retro machines.
Okay, hold on.
So yep,
I have played a fuck ton of NBA Jam in my lifetime.
yep, yep.
Who's your go-to team? Who's your go-to?
Well, Boston Celtics. There's nobody else.
I
So
mean,
I'll put it this way: I did the Boston Celtics because I knew Caitlin was taking the Knicks, and so I had to go for it.
yeah,
Um,
I will
I-
say,
Playing NBA Jam on my phone, I was always like a KG Ray Allen guy.
okay, I'm only ever like on the arcade machine.
Okay,
But
who's your
my
go-to?
the Suns because Charles Barkley
Oh, probably
is really
monster.
really good at like I have his timing on threes down like crazy. His 3-point rating isn't that high, but I have his timing down really good. And I
So you're just
think
nasty.
I'm filthy with the fucking Suns, dude. I call him Charles Bark 3 for a reason, dude.
Charles Bark 3. You are the only person in existence to ever tout Charles Barkley's ability at 3-point shooting.
When I first moved here, me and uh three of my friends would go to the barcade here on like a Friday
Yep.
night and just load up, like get pockets full of tokens. It's right next to like the actual physical bar in the place. We would play NBA Jam for 3 hours.
It
And
was
we,
so
Holy
much
crap.
fun. I
yeah,
hadn't played it on the arcade. It's like it's fun.
it's one of my favorite things. It's super fun when you're playing duos and stuff. You get like when someone gets a hot hand, you just start feeding them the ball. It's so much fun.
Yeah, it's dope. They had that. They had a couple other arcade games too. It was a really cool vibe in there.
Would you
Um,
describe it as a barcade?
Not quite. It was more of like a cool bar with like 2 or 3 arcade machines than like a barcade. Like when I picture a barcade, I'm like, all right, it's an arcade that serves alcohol kind of thing. More
Yeah.
than
Okay,
more than
that's
what I
fair.
had. Like it was a brewery with arcade machines, but still dope nonetheless. Um, I like this beer. I gave it a 4.0. Kind of like you described the last one. Honestly, it was a beer's beer. It was like it was light, it was crisp, it was refreshing. Um, I don't think it was anything like overly complex taste wise. I think it was very straightforward, which is nice. Um, I really just rock solid. Like I would absolutely drink this beer again. I think it'd be really good on a summer day. Great lawn mowing beer, in my opinion. Um, yeah, like I definitely recommend it. Yeah,
I like that.
that's
I
all I
like
got.
I like a good
It
beer.
was it's nothing like when we talk about like no frills beer, like that's this. It was just straightforward, like not too much going on. But again, not a
So
bad
did you
beer.
guys did we all kind of stick to your standard like refreshing lagers versus going somewhere out like a Mexican lager or a dark lager or something like that?
I will just say you will be shocked at my second beer. So no.
Ooh.
I went pretty traditional. I kind of just like I saw a couple of things that said lager. I was like, you know what, the cans look interesting. Let's go for it. So I didn't go anything too crazy.
For mine here, I only did one. Again, just coming back into things here.
Moderation, responsible.
Good for you.
Since I was in Canada, I went with a French beer, okay? And
A Bud
it's
Light.
by Brasserie
A Budweiser.
a 1911 hard cider.
No, Mackenzie Black Cherry.
Black Cherry. No, I love that. No, it was by Brasserie Kronenberg, which is super standard apparently. But I but I heard it was a lager, and I'm like, oh, that's what's happening this week, you know. And I wasn't going too crazy, obviously, with beer, so I figured I'd toss this one in as my introductory. It's called 1664 Kronenberg. It's a European pale lager. French by all accounts, but French piss by one untapped account.
And that account was Luke Rydelic.
Yeah. But I thought it was perfect for a hot but breezy Canadian summer day, which it was obviously at that time. And I liked it. I gave it a 3 rating on Untapped. Obviously, it didn't blow my socks off, but it was pretty solid. There was slight bitterness and inviting, I would say, like light sweetness through the finish. A light mouth feel, which I felt like it was in the right setting for it. So I wasn't complaining by any means. And I guess how I would describe the taste, I described it as a little buttery. So it was like a little light, fluffy, buttery biscuit kind of taste that was
Baked
that
in
was
a
very,
buttery, crispy crust.
Buttery flaky crust.
Buttery flaky
baked in a buttery butter. Whoop.
baked in a beer.
That
I
is one of the
flaky
classic
crust.
videos.
It's so good. Right. You know what my other favorite one, and I think about it every time I'm tasting a beer, is I think it's the was it Turkey Hill ice cream taster.
Oh
He
yeah.
takes
Yeah.
takes
Oh,
a scoop of ice cream, he goes in his tongue and he just goes, you really gotta just kind of let it coat all of your
I
tongue,
wish your
really
mic
working in the
was
roof of your
picking
mouth.
up the
You're
sound.
not
Yeah.
getting
It's
it?
just like,
Damn it.
yeah, it's like,
All right, someone else is gonna try it, see if it picks
oh
it up. But like
man, our
it's just a
mics aren't
classic
picking it
video.
up.
What if I
Yeah,
shove
no,
it in
go
my
drink
mouth?
some water.
Yeah, but
That's what it
yeah,
sounds like when
for
you drink water.
context for our listeners,
Oh,
since it's not
damn
picking
it.
up, we're just screaming on the top of our lungs right now. No, no,
No,
it's
that's a good
just
one. But I think
it's
about it.
just like tasting, like doing little mouth opening movements over and over and over again,
Yeah.
coating the entire tongue.
You really coat the palate and
There we
There,
go.
it
I
picked it
got
up.
time. It got a time. All right, so
Yeah.
I just have
It
to
got it.
swallow the microphone when I do it.
Like that one time you stuck the microphone in your beer.
Yes.
Oh
Crack it open.
yeah.
That was trying to get a good crack sound. Yeah.
Well, you know
No, but
what they say. The great Billy Joel said the microphone smells like a beer.
when did he say that?
He said that in Piano Man. Come on,
Luke,
Keegan.
I'm literally messing with you.
Oh, okay. Okay. I was worried.
This is him getting
Because
defensive,
because you
actually.
know
He
what the
didn't know.
piano you know what the piano sounds like?
The fart.
What?
A carnival.
Yeah.
Oh,
Natalie
Oh.
Carnival from 10,000 Maniacs.
Yeah. Yeah, wait, what's that from? No. My last thing is just it was a 5.5 ABV, which I feel like if it was American, it would be like 3.5 to 4.5.
It'd be a Mormon beer.
Be a Mormon beer.
Wow.
3.5 is the Mormons getting absolutely
Getting
cranked on
after it.
beer.
That's their imperial lager.
Yeah.
Just call it an imperial Mormon lager. I think we should brew that. When we open BTDT Brewing, we're gonna make an imperial. We don't have to say Mormon because we don't have to be, mean, but we can
No,
say
let's bring God into this.
We'll call it the Joseph Smith special.
Um, yeah.
No, I mean, my like as my wheels have been spinning since you brought up the arcade games. We opened up a brewcade, and so it's
I'm
an
in.
arcade slash brewery.
Dude, I'm in. We just
I
make sure that we get good prizes with games that people can never win, and then we're good.
I went to one in Burlington, Vermont for Chaz's bachelor party, whatever, a month or so ago.
Mhm.
And it was a lot of fun. Genuinely, it's like not something you typically associate with drinking, but it was they had a
See,
big old bar. I had a wonderful porter. It was great.
the brewcade or the barcade here, Up Down, which they're like kind of a chain. There's a couple of them around the Midwest, I think. Um, but they have a shit ton of taps. Like they have a lot of beers on tap there. And then also the cocktail that I don't know how my friend who has since like he moved to like Maryland now. He doesn't live around here anymore. But the cocktail he got me one night when we were hanging out there was an amaretto sour there, which I'd had before,
Ooh.
but they make them really, really good there. And so like if we're ever in that area, Sophie's always like, "Oh, can we go get an amaretto sour and play skee ball?"
Never a bad combination. I definitely wouldn't be disappointed with a combination like that.
No, when
I
you guys get out here, I'll take you. It's a really good spot.
we when we get out there, there's going to be a list
We're
of like
we're
400
we're gonna
breweries and
need
bars.
we're going to need to take a month off of work, Luke, because it's gonna be like literally 3 weeks of just drinking straight, and then a couple days sprinkled in for recovery in between.
Yeah, are there years for work?
Sabbatical.
Can I take-
Gap years for great beers. All right,
I'm
that's what
going
I'm
on
saying.
independent study.
Oh,
Well,
honestly, like after 5 years, I think I can get sabbatical. I can go away. I get like a
oh
quarter
really?
pay for like I can go. I can like leave work for like 2 months. I get a quarter pay. Um, and then I come back, and then I'd have to wait another 5 years.
What do you do?
Really?
Spy on other company? Like what? Like
No, it's just
what do you-
like I mean, it's just like a thing. Like I know a guy I work with, like him and his family, like he did it over the summer, like right into the end of the school year, or like the beginning of the school year. So like he had the whole summer off basically, and like went on like a road trip with his like wife and kids to go see his like brother who lives out somewhere else, and like they went to a bunch of different national parks and camped and hiked, and just he's like, it's really nice because my wife's a teacher, and so that way I could be off at the same time as her and just spend time with family and kids.
Just an
That's
opportunity to
great.
find yourself.
Well, I like because I think it's different for like college professors because like or like teachers because I had a history teacher in high school who like went on sabbatical, and he went to like Egypt for like 4 months or something like that, and like explored all like the ancient ruins of like like Egypt and Mesopotamia and Babylon and like
I,
stuff
I
like
was
that.
going to say that the chair of the political science department went on sabbatical one semester, and it was to finish writing a book or something or conducting research for it. So that's, I guess, what I always pictured sabbatical
That's
was
what I thought
just
it was too, until it was actually the first person I knew was I started at my company and my boss was on sabbatical. He
On
hired me
sabbatical
and
when you
then went on
started?
sabbatical.
Oh
And
my
so
God.
I came in, they're like, yeah, Eric's gone for 2 months.
Sick, sick. Unreal.
Yeah, it was crazy, man. But no, I think we don't have to do everything all at once. I think we can pick and choose. The easy part about Milwaukee is it's all very close. It's not a very big city, so we can do a lot of things in one day.
sweet.
Yeah, that sounds good to me. Although, can we petition Milwaukee to get bird scooters before we come?
They have Lime scooters.
Is that the same thing?
Done.
Yes.
Done
And
Motorized?
shipping.
bubbler
I'm in.
bikes.
Fuck yeah, I'm in.
What is a bubbler bike? What is that?
It's got a
Uh
water fountain on it.
I
yeah.
was gonna, I was gonna
No,
say,
they're like No, they're like the
The
bikes
Bubba bikes.
like have you seen the
Bubba.
city? Like, what are the ones RIT has? The city bikes or whatever? They're the
Something like that.
bikes.
Yeah.
They
They're
don't
like
have
city
the
any
bikes.
anymore.
they
Yeah,
had
people were throwing them in the pond too much.
no,
Yeah.
they had it. No, they tried. They had the rackless ones with spin, but these ones have like racks, like designated spots that you put them in.
So they're like the city bikes one. Yeah.
Yeah, you can just cruise it around the city if you want to, and like,
Do they have them back?
RIT. I thought had them like one of our last years there.
Interesting. Okay.
I don't know.
I mean, it
could-
was
Luke
COVID,
only
so
had
I
to go to
guess.
school for 4 years, so
Yeah, yeah. Some of us had to work for our
some
degrees.
of us.
Hey, listen, if you put the work in for a soft science degree, okay, we'd be having a different conversation. But no, you two decided to do something productive and
Productive.
Sorry, I didn't get free
worthwhile.
college.
Yeah, my mom
Oh.
went through way more hell than I did.
Yeah. No, and
I feel like I'm. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna say I'm not personally a scooter guy, but I did just recently purchase a bike, so I'm gonna be cruising around.
I feel like I'd be more stable on a scooter than a bike, but Luke can. I don't know. Luke, you can voice your opinion, I guess.
Well, I've fallen on both. Hurt my collarbone on both, but only one was a broken one,
Allegedly.
allegedly.
And allegedly, we'll be back shortly after this quick intermission of Beer There Drunk That.
Whoop whoop.
And we're back at Beer There Drunk That, where one of our members did in fact complete the 999 challenge in less than 9 innings.
I did it in 8.
Oh, so it doesn't count. No.
Yeah. Asshole.
You suck. Do it again. It was. Oh God. I'm gonna put a disclaimer on it. If you're gonna attempt the 999 challenge, there's a couple things. Make sure you have medical staff present. I was the medical staff present for my own 999 challenge. And then the other thing is make sure it's a full game. Because I showed up at this game at 1:00 on a Thursday, and I'm like, hell yeah, I'm gonna drink 9 beers, eat 9 hot dogs. We'll be done at like 4:00, 3:30 with a pitch clock, and I'll be out of here. I'll go home, I'll sleep it off, and it'll be great. Boy, was I wrong. So firstly, we found out in the 5th inning when they started to do the 7th inning stretch in the 5th inning that the first game, both games were only 7-inning games because it was doubleheader.
Minor leagues do 7-inning doubleheaders now.
It was a mistake. So at that point, I was ahead of pace. So I'll tell you about my strategy a little bit. You can see this on the Instagram too. But my strategy, which I think is the way you have to attack it. I went for efficiency. So I went for 24-ounce pours. And so before the first pitch started, I was in my seat for first pitch with essentially 4 beers, 2 24-ounce pours, and 4 hot dogs. So I was set for the first 4 innings. My goal going into it was finish those beers before the 4th inning. So then I have the 4th inning as a little bit of a reprieve, kind of, and it'll give me time to go restock without falling behind of my pace. I still stand by that assertion of strategy. However, 9 hot dogs is so many goddamn hot dogs.
Yeah.
I think that's the hardest part of it.
That is the
9 hot
hardest
dogs.
I
part.
agree.
It absolutely is. It's awful. It's terrible. I did make sure so all of the hot dogs were Zweigels, so that helped a little bit.
Did you
I
alternate
made sure-
whites and reds, or did you just
So that was part of my strategy too, Donnie. I did think about it.
yeah? Because you want to
So
get sick of eating 9 red hot dogs.
so I loved those Zweigels whites. I think it's a fantastic hot dog. You got to char it with a pop open. It's so good.
I'm right there with you. Zweigel's white could do horrendous things to me.
It did horrendous things to me.
Yeah,
I was gonna say
Um,
Keegan's bathroom can attest.
yeah. Half a bottle of
but-
Miralax.
dude, I don't drink coffee. I had to drink coffee at breakfast the next morning, take a 2 caps full of Miralax, and it still took me a day to like unclog everything.
Mystery meat tends to do
Yeah,
it.
it was a cork. It was a cork in my intestines.
Sawdust in a hot dog will do
Yep.
that to you.
Yes. So no, so my strategy for the hot dogs was I wanted to make sure that I wasn't gonna ever get sick of the white hots because I knew that there was a real possibility going into this. I might never eat a hot dog again after this challenge. So with that in mind, I only had two whites for my entire challenge. The fourth hot dog and the ninth hot dog. So I
Okay.
wanted like my halfway point and my celebration to be a white hot. And
Fair.
I'm right there
I
with you.
stand by it. I stand by it
I would
because
maybe do 159 because that way the first one it gets you excited and it
yep,
goes down
yep,
quick.
yep. I agree. I think there's a couple ways to play it,
Yeah.
but making sure that I still down the road when I'm fully recovered from this and I want to eat a hot dog again, I can say, hey, give me a Zweigel's white kind of thing.
So the one thing I will say about Zweigel's dogs compared to like as someone who didn't like initially grow up with them, but then became a man on Zweigel's, in college,
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
is they're thicker than most other hot dogs that I've had in my life.
They
Like
are.
you guys can both attest to a Fenway Frank.
Mhm.
Yep.
I will never forget, you and I hyping them up, Keegan and Luke and Caitlin were like,
Luke's
what is
face.
it?"
Yeah.
Yeah, they were like, and then they both got hot dogs, and then it was like the third inning of the Red Sox game, and Caitlin looked at Luke and goes, "You want to go get more hot dogs?" And he was like, "Yeah,
Yeah, absolutely.
I think I had 3.
yeah."
Yeah.
I think you
Maybe
came back
4.
with 2.
Yeah, I was gonna say I
There-
definitely got part of the way to that
A
999
999,
challenge
yeah.
completely unintentionally.
We were just mere kids.
Yeah. But no, so they are thicker hot dogs. Honestly, the hardest part about this one was specifically the bread. So because what I think they do is they probably mass order the rolls for their Italian sausage. And so you're getting a
Oh,
hot dog
yeah.
in a big ass bun. A big ass
Oh.
bun. So some of them, luckily, like they were cooked early enough and they were kind of smashed down. It helped. But that was harder than the actual meat itself, in my opinion.
What beers did you do? So I was
So
texting you
that's a
about this
great question.
beforehand,
Yep.
is I wanted to know your beer strategy.
Yes. So I wanted to kind of like your thought process with the white hots. I wanted to get it started on a good note.
Mhm.
So I grabbed a 24-ounce pour of the peach mango and I grabbed a
Oh.
24-ounce of the ruby red.
Oh, okay.
Both crushable beers.
Very crushable
I would
beers.
agree.
Very crushable beers. Again, the beer was the easy part. But so those went down quick. And then I said, you know what? Same idea as the white hot. If I end up throwing up, I don't want to be averted to Kolsch or the ruby red or the mango.
Genius.
So I
Yeah.
switched over to Jenny Light.
Okay, yeah.
And Jenny Light was kind of what I rode to the finish line.
So
Okay.
as Kuz was interviewing you with the bat,
Mhm. Yep.
I had it in my head because beer bat is 28 fluid ounces if I'm correct?
Yeah, 28, 30, something like that.
Something around there. So I mean, realistically, 3 to 4 beer bats would help minimize your trips and keep
It
your
would.
hands free.
It
Is
would.
my thought.
It would. I agree. I think a
And
beer
that's
bat wouldn't be a bad strategy.
because I think you can refill them at places. Like
Mhm.
when we went to
They,
like
yeah,
I
so
haven't had one I had one in Chicago that cost me like $38 or whatever. Full of
Holy
old
shit.
yeah, old style. Like Cubs beer bat. But in Milwaukee, I haven't gotten one yet, but we went on to the game on Tuesday, and Sophie's mom kept joking about getting a bat because last time we were at a game, there was like a family, and they were like, "Oh, like the dad and son went up to get stuff, and the wife was like, "Hey, bring me back a bat, like a beer bat."
Mhm.
And he came back, and he didn't have the bat, and she was pissed. She was pissed. And so like we were sitting in like one of the all-inclusive like party deck areas, and we could see the bar like just like the section down over into the stadium because we were in the outfield. But
Mhm.
then like behind the third baseline, we could see it, and they had the bats like hanging upside down. And Sophie's parents went up on a beer run, and they're like, all right, we're coming back with bats.
I love it. I love it.
They didn't, but it was the thought that counts.
Yeah. No, so I agree. I think so. Beer bats can be a little bit awkward to drink speed wise, but it would definitely minimize your trip. Um, let's see what else was there. So I mean, both games were exciting. The Red Wings ended up walking off both games.
So did you stay for both games?
We stayed for both games. I we moved up to the shaded area, and everybody basically had left at that point. So I leaned back, I put my feet up, and I just let everything just kind of digest.
Well,
I had water for the second game. I did not have any beers.
no, but
Definitely no hot dogs.
Keegan, you may have found the loophole though.
How's that?
This is 9 innings. You only
Right.
saw
So yeah.
seven. So you saw 7 innings of if you like because the second game it went to like
So it
extras
went.
and they walked off.
So the first game
First
went
game.
to extras. It was in 8 innings. So I finished in 8 innings as they walked off.
So in theory, though, you only still saw 8 innings. You could have used the first inning of the second game to accomplish your feat.
So we actually did discuss that. I talked about it with Kuz. My thought would be if that were to happen, because there was like a 30-minute break or so, I think, in between games.
You
So
can't drink during the break.
for fairness sake, no. So fairness sake, I would have said you need everything to be done by first pitch of the second game.
Oh, okay.
So that was my kind of thought.
Okay.
Oh,
Hang on, we
I think-
lost you.
Yeah, I'm here.
maybe you're back.
I'm back.
Yeah. So that was my okay. Yeah. So that was my thought because I talked about it. As soon as we realized it, we were like, wait, how does that work? And so that's what we kind of said. We were like, all right, if it only goes 7, you have to finish by the start of that next game.
So
Did you experience meat sweats?
Yes, I did. I don't know.
meat
It was a
and
little bit
heat
warm.
sweats?
Yeah, it was a little bit warm, so it's hard to tell which was which. Yeah, I'm not. I won't say no. Is how I'll put it.
Oh,
What were you
you
saying,
know
Donnie?
when you get meat sweats.
You know when you get the meat sweats.
I was just saying I would also pose the okay, you can't consume anything during the break between the two games, but you can use the other 2 innings, the first 2 innings of the next game.
I think it's a good thought. The reason I think I talked, and if I'm remembering correctly, the reason I said probably not to Kuz was because I think then it gives you the break. It lets you because one of the things that's
Oh,
most difficult
yeah.
about it is the
It's the
pace you have
pace,
to keep.
yeah.
It is. I mean, the amount is disgusting. But it's really the pace. So I think if you took that gap, even though that you're not drinking or eating during that time, it still gives you a chance to kind of like and not have to mentally overcome shoving another hot dog down your gullet.
I want to put it out there that news made it to Christie Lake in Canada that the impossible was in fact possible.
We're
I
international.
mentioned, and I said it pretty much exactly how I just said it to you. And I said Keegan completed the 999 challenge, and there was a legitimate round of applause.
I love it.
We were in the screen tent.
Hell yeah.
It was classic. He did. Oh yeah,
Hell yeah.
it was
that
awesome.
is the exact opposite of the reaction I got from my mom. She was like, "You did what?" Yeah, very different
Okay, to be
reactions.
fair, that's our mother's job. That's the my son ate so much meat and drank so much beer that
Yeah.
he's not going to poop. He's not going to have his little poops.
Yeah, so I mean, it was an accomplishment, not anything I'll ever even attempt again. Like it's just not something I'll enjoy again. I think I probably won't eat a hot dog for at least a year.
I had gout by proxy at that point.
I was gonna say I might be the only one on this podcast without gout.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, well, first thing, one of the first things Sophie's dad Don asked me when I saw him today was, "Did Keegan complete it?" And I said
Hell yeah.
yes.
My man,
But
Don John Julio,
Leo.
Patron Jones.
Patron Jones.
No, so the other thing is we were talking about doing it at the Milkmen games, which is the indie ball team by us, literally down the street from where Sophie and her parents live.
Mhm.
They do dollar beers on Thursdays, but they're like the nickel pours.
Wow.
So it's like 8 or 10 ounces or whatever's in one of those cups.
Okay.
So the joke was we show up with a muffin tin and we just ask them to put a cup in each one of them. And it's like
Not a
12
bad
bucks.
idea. Not a bad idea.
Because you don't walk through security there. They just scan your tickets. They go, okay.
There you go. Yeah, no,
Whatever
that's a
happens
good
is on
thought.
you.
Because
I-
I do think like you can't like unless you're loaded, you can't feasibly do this at a major league game. That is just so much freaking
No
money.
shot, dude.
Like I was gonna say,
I
post a
spent
picture
more
of your
money.
credit card statement.
Yeah.
On
Yeah,
this
right.
one.
No, I spent more money than I should have on hot dogs and beer, and that was at a minor league game.
Yeah,
So
you're probably around $100.
yep, yeah, I think 120
Yeah, like it,
Oh
like
my
just
God.
like basic
on
math
hot
in my
dogs and
head.
beer.
Because I'm thinking like 7 hot dogs would be like what, probably $6 each at a Milkmen game,
Mhm.
which would on top of beers. But if you get like, yes, they're smaller pours, so it's not the standard 12 ounces, but you can get more of them for cheaper.
Yep.
$2 gets you 16 ounces of beer, 16, 20 ounces of beer, which is
Yeah.
great.
Right. No, I think that would be a good way to do it. Absolutely, it comes down to efficiency in the sense of not your pace itself, but setting yourself up for success.
Yeah, like I think this will be perhaps next summer. I will attempt it. Perhaps if you guys come out here, we'll
I'm
go to a Milkmen game and do it.
I mean, I won't be doing it, but I'll support you.
No,
I'm gonna make a
I'll do
t-shirt.
it.
I want
Yeah.
to make a t-shirt with a BTDT logo on it. On the back is just I survived the 999 challenge.
The fact that I know someone that did it makes me really happy in my life, and the fact that it's not only one of my co-hosts but one of my best friends.
Yep.
Just it makes me proud.
Yep. I'm glad I can do that for you.
You'll be getting a present from me.
Hell yeah. Well, should we talk about other beer then than just my disgusting consumption of beer at the Red Wings game?
Let's do it.
Yeah. Do you want me to go first or you to go first?
I've been talking for a while. Why don't you go?
All right, you're gonna shit your pants.
Well,
Because
hold on. No, I want to go then. I forgot you said it's crazy. I want yours. I want yours to be the mic drop because mine is
You're
not
gonna
that
shit
crazy.
your pants when you see this.
Okay.
beer.
So my other beer is also from like the York, Maine area. This is York Beach Beer Company's Boone Light Lager. It's an American light lager, 4.4%. Made in York Beach. Great area as well. They have a nice lighthouse that we went by. It's the Nubble Lighthouse.
Noble Lighthouse, yep.
A Nubble. Okay. So yeah, we went over there, took some pictures, but yeah, so that area, very nice. So as far as the beer, let me get my notes up. So I thought this was a little bit like complex in flavor for a lager. Like I was having a hard time digesting it when I was tasting it.
Probably because of all the hot dogs.
I think my palate definitely was tainted. It was like just hot dog juice is what I was tasting. Um, no, so the notes that I had, so it had like this mildly bitter finish that I wouldn't necessarily expect from a lager, but it wasn't unpleasant at all. It was kind of like I'd say it like an ode to IPAs kind of thing, like not anywhere near the bitterness that you get with an IPA, but just more than I expected after drinking the Sox Lager. It was super light bodied, super crisp as you come to expect with the lagers. I think it pairs very well with, and I spelled lobster roll, LOBSTAH.
Lobster.
Definitely would pair well with some seafood.
Lobster.
So lobster roll. Yeah, I ended up giving a 3.5. I think it's a solid beer. Yeah, I think it was just kind of rock solid.
Cool.
I don't know. The American Light Lager does get a bad rep just with like the macros and stuff, but I think when you find a good craft one, I mean that's a sessionable, that's a Moorish beer,
It definitely is. Yeah, this is definitely a Moorish beer.
Like I think of Tuckerman's, who my parents' friends own back home. They make a beer called Twilight, just a light lager, and they freaking love that beer because it's just good. It's just good.
I like that. All right, Donnie. I did have a poop today already because of the Miralax, but what do you got for us?
So I was perusing Total Wine, and I had two beers in my hand, and I put one down and picked this one up because I knew it was going to be both unique but also fun. I've heard of this an adjacent beer to this before, because Sophie likes it. Um, Perhaps as a Bloody Mary chaser. Um, this is from a company called Oliphant Brewing in Somerset, Wisconsin. They make a very famous pickle beer that is a very good Bloody Mary chaser.
Oh,
Because,
you've talked about that, right?
yep, Bloody Marys
Okay.
Yeah.
here come with a full size, like a beer as a chaser. Um, and
Okay.
so they like pickle beers as a chaser sometimes because it's fun and it goes with the salty stuff. This one would not be a good chaser because this is their strawberry pickle beer. It is a brined
Oh,
lager.
What the hell?
Wait until you see the video of me drinking it. It is the craziest purple color you've ever
Oh,
seen in your
no.
life.
What?
Purple?
It's purple. I sent it to her to the Instagram account if you want to look at it right now, guys. Like it is I don't have any pictures of
I
it.
Oh my God.
I am afraid for my life that this beer exists.
Oh
Dude, it
my
was
God.
I did not
Why? Why
know it
did they do
existed until I
that?
picked it up. Um I gave this a
Oh my
2.75
God.
out of 5 on Untapped because
That sounds generous.
okay, here's the thing. The beer tastes exactly like what it says. It tastes like fresh strawberries and it tastes like pickles. And you can't knock it for that. Like I never thought that this was a bad beer when I was drinking it. It is just such a weird and unique flavor. I see your face now that you've seen what it
Oh
looks
my
like.
God.
Wait, I can't. Why am I missing it? I don't see it.
I scrolled.
Scroll
I
up.
sent a
Yeah, he
couple
sent that a while
posts.
ago.
Yeah, I sent it the other day.
Oh
Um,
my
it
God.
looks like a smoothie sour.
It does.
Like it looks like if you had like a
Ugh.
candy smoothie sour.
And it drinks like a lager.
Yeah, it's like it's got a thicker mouth consistency for sure, but
Okay.
it's not like a smoothie sour.
Ooh, ooh, ooh. Oh, wow.
Like
What?
the crazy part is it just feels like it's layered. It's like you get when you sniff it and when you drink it, it's like the first thing that comes is the strawberries. You're like, oh, this is nice, and then the back it sneaks in and it's a pickle beer.
It's
And
lulling you to sleep and then just beating the shit out of you.
this is a beer I literally wrote this could be a lot worse. Like this beer, like I was
Wow.
expecting to
That's one
drink
way to describe a beer.
like this beer had so many layers to go before it became bad, in my opinion. Because it like I said, at no point have I thought it is bad. It's just a very odd flavor. That's why
So,
I gave it a 2.75 because it's a beer I would recommend people try to see their opinions on. Um, but like I'm never gonna go like I didn't think it was bad by any means. I'm just like I can't drink more than I can't drink more than 12 ounces in a week
Yeah.
of this beer.
no human
Yep.
can.
No, no.
I will say if I saw this on the tap list, I would
You get it in a
You'd
flight
order
for
it?
I
sure.
would get it in a flight for
Mm.
sure. That is like peak. What the hell am I looking at? Like
And
I
that was
gotta
my
try
mindset.
this.
And that I think that to me is I'm embodying this podcast. I want to try weird shit and drink it.
I commend you for that.
That
Like
is absolutely wild.
That's outstanding.
like it is I think this is the craziest beer that's been drank on this pod, I think. I don't know. Like
I think so. Yeah.
I mean, if it's not, it's damn close.
yeah, this is just a brined lager with strawberries. It just
It's brined.
yeah.
Like it's not,
It
like
has pickles in it, Luke.
a lager brined with pickle, a lager brewed with pickles. I'd be like, oh yeah, you know what? That's to be expected. But brined, it's brined. He's got pickles in his beer.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I would it's like a 4%er, like it's nothing crazy. It's just okay, because with the brine stuff, I know you've talked about pickle beers before too, Keegan.
Mhm.
What are you guys' opinions on gozas? Like, have you ever drank much of them at all? A goza?
A goes?
Yeah.
I have,
I had
yeah.
like a lime goes one time, and it
Because
was
those are salty.
yeah, and it was like okay. I probably wouldn't drink it much,
Well,
but the
good, because
fact
we're
that it tastes
drinking them
like
in a couple
pickles is
weeks.
like the oh
Oh,
god,
God.
I
yeah, oh god damn.
Uh,
no, I just remember Sophie and I had one, and she took a sip, and she goes, "This is Gatorade beer, and not in a good way."
It's Gatorade beer. It's just Pedialyte in a beer.
Yeah.
Yikes. Donnie, you weren't wrong. You were
No,
not wrong by at all, at all, at all.
I will say I do want to try it.
the live
The fact
reactions, I
that
think,
it
of
looks
what it
like you
looks like.
just scooped out of a puddle that somebody dripped some like purple juice into.
It's the weirdest color I've ever seen in my life, man. Like
Yeah.
that's not what I was
Honestly,
expecting.
not being able to see through it is really scary to me.
No
Like,
light.
it's just like you know how some people have thalassophobia or whatever it's called, fear of the
Yeah,
ocean,
yeah, yeah,
like
yeah.
the deep dark. I've got that through that beer. I now have that permanently.
It caused it. I love that.
That's one of the
Yeah.
reasons why I usually drink beer out of a glass, is so that way I can see it. But also, at the same time, terrifying.
Yeah.
If someone handed me a glass of that, I would say that's not,
You'd be no, thank you.
that's alien blood from a movie.
Yep. Yep.
Well,
Oh God.
with that, I will announce that our next beer for next week will be a saison for us to try.
Saison.
Bang, bang.
Saison.
So what
Um,
we'll talk, I guess we'll talk about next week. I was gonna say like a session and saison just feels like it should be the same beer, even though
not
it's
the same
not.
thing.
I know, I know.
Yeah,
It feels like it
different.
should
Saison
be.
is like an old Belgian style of beer with specific
I
yeast strains.
no, I know, but I feel like session and saison should be the same thing, but I know they're not.
Session.
Um,
Sessionable just
I do
means
have
you
a
can
question of the
drink a
week.
lot of it. That's like why they say like sessionable IPAs, because you can drink a couple without feeling like shit.
Yum
Okay.
yum yum.
Well,
All
I
right.
guess we're doing saisons.
Yeah. What's your question,
Um,
Keegan?
so my question is, we kind of touched on it earlier. Should Pluto be a planet still? Yes or no? I mean, I think so, but I also don't want to sway anybody. So
But I know
That's fucked up, is
Pluto
all I'm
got
saying.
really, really drunk at the last
at the meeting,
planet gathering, and so I know he's kind of on the outs.
gotcha.
Neptune doesn't like him.
No,
I mean,
Neptune does not.
does Neptune really like anybody though?
That's true. Neptune's an asshole.
Thank
No,
you for saying
Uranus
it.
is
I'm
an
glad you just
asshole.
said it.
And with that, we bid
Yeah,
you adieu for the week.
okay. I guess saisons it is, and
Assholes.
Get the hell out of here.